Good afternoon and welcome to Wallers TV and part of our Meet Your Farmers videos, which we are going to go around each of our farmers that supply us locally and introduce them to you and get them to explain a little bit more about what they do. Today we've come out to the beautiful fields of Leominster, which is about 15 miles away from where our shop is in Ledbury, and we're going to meet Stuart Mee, part of the Stuart Mee and Nigel Mee family business, Springfield Poultry in Leominster. So let's go and have a look around the farm and see what they do here. Fridges of Springfield Poultry, and as you see, these are all now being dragged down to temperature. The guidance from the government says that we have to get chickens down to as quick as possible, and what we try and do is ensure from the point that they get into this fridge, which is the first holding fridge, we walk through 3 different fridges now, which takes the temperatures down. The first fridge was absolutely freezing, but this one, it's not too bad at all. But as you can see, it's totally clean and a wonderful holding fridge, which gives me even more confidence that Stuart knows exactly what he's doing. Good afternoon and welcome to Wallers TV. We've come out to Springfield Farm with Stuart Mee. He's one of our free-range chicken suppliers, and we've probably been working together about 20-25 years now. Gotta be. We do chickens from him, and we get our free-range turkeys at Christmas from Stuart. So Stuart, you started working here at what age?
As a kid.
Sorry to bring that up.
That's okay. As a kid, it's been a long time. Although I did go off farm for probably a year or so, but I've pretty much all my life I've been working here.
And what brought you into this farm? It's a family business?
Family business, yeah. In fact, this whole farm was actually dairy and pork. And I'm not sure if that did sheep. I know that they stopped milking in 1963, which was the year I was born. Right, okay. And actually, Mum actually started the poultry side of it, and it was half a dozen turkeys.
Wow.
That she raised in a small back shed and let them out into the garden, and they were to give away as Christmas presents. And my dad and his dad decided actually. So they killed them, plucked them, took them to the butchers, got money, bought Christmas presents, money left over. Springfield Poultry was born. We know it's 30-something years that we've been doing this. Wow, okay. And you say your dad's dad as well was a farmer? No, he was a butcher.
Interesting. And who else in the family works with you?
There's my brother. Obviously, Mum and Dad set it all up. Unfortunately, Dad passed away a couple of years ago. Seems like it was yesterday, but there you go. But it was all his ethos and everything else. My son, my eldest son and my youngest son both work in the business. Nigel's twins, they're coming up for 16, and I think they probably like to come into the business as well.
So it's a proper family.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how many acres of farmland do you have around here then? What the birds can roam freely?
This field is a 30-acre field.
Wow.
And then there's another one across the road, another 4 acres.
They're free-range birds, and obviously we've seen that they've got wonderful pastures and to explore and to roam around in. But what would you say is the biggest threat to having free-range turkey? I mean, free-range turkeys and chickens. I mean, from my point of view, I would say fox. But do you have problems with foxes? I mean, I see some beautiful birds of prey circling over the top.
We've always had a problem with fox. I mean, we've got woods, and again, you can see from the length of this graph. Yeah, so the fox and the aerial, and believe it or not, even two-legged, even two-legged. So most of the buildings
what, you
down
mean
there,
people?
yeah,
Really?
come help yourself.
Talking about all the issues that the hatchlings and the chickens face, you've got a very impressive farm, and all the temperatures. It's very clean. One thing that I noticed when you opened up one of the brooder arcs was it was such a clean smelling. There was no offensive aromas coming out at all. So but this needs to be manned. So do you work 365 days of the year? Christmas Day?
365.
Because I suppose they don't know it's Christmas, do they?
No, absolutely, absolutely. The only time that we wouldn't let them out is if the weather was so inclement.
So obviously working 365 days a year, it's not like a traditional job that you would go and start and finish. It's a way of life, farming as we know. Yeah. What sort of time does your day start then?
Well, I'm very lucky because of an age I am now. I have fantastic staff. So, but generally, for example, last night I didn't get into bed until 2 o'clock. So
2 o'clock this morning.
2 o'clock this morning. Wow. Yeah.
So you've been doing this for many years, virtually all your life. Yep. What do you think has changed so much from when you started, probably late 70s, to now? What do you think has changed, or has it stayed very similar?
No, a lot's moved on. You know, our business, we haven't just got to doing sort of three and a bit thousand birds. You know, we've built that up over the years. I think Hugh Fernley Withensall said about the free range. That was a big push forward. People are prepared to have less meat but better meat and know where it's sourced from.
So how many birds do you think as a rule do you grow throughout a week, or and what sort of process do you go through to get to that number?
Well, we have 7,000 chicks come in every fortnight.
Wow.
And then so which is giving us between 3,400 3,400.
So you don't hatch them here?
No.
I suppose that's a complete specialist job in its own
very
right.
Specialist. Our hatchery is down in Devon. Right. And we've been using them for many years.
Amazing, really. I mean, and for what you've got around here, they've obviously got lots of space to roam and so forth. Now we are in the country, so I'm sure I saw somewhere that you were on the country foal last year or the year before.
A couple of years. Actually, Dad was on country foal. Maybe
that was Rod, yeah.
Yes, maybe 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I was interviewed with Tom, probably got to be close on 3 years ago.
Right.
And then the other one was a bit of fun, was Escape to the Country.
Oh, you were on that too?
Yes. So
I bet you had great fun with that.
Yeah. Dad dropped me in it. Somebody rang up and said, could you do this? He said, no, I can't. He said, but I know someone who can. So they came out, and it was good fun. It was good.
When you have those sorts of very well-known TV programs wanting to come and contact you, you know you're doing something right there. Then.
Yeah, for sure. And as you've seen, it's a great environment. You know, it's not mass produced. And again, don't get me wrong about the mass produced. You know, these places that do 3 chickens for a tenner for somebody who's on a very low budget, you know, they're sorting them out. You know, but people who are prepared to pay a little bit more, you know, would rather have good quality meat, you know, twice a week than pay and not have so good a quality meat 4 or 5 times a week, which is, I think, the way people are going. I think. Well,
we both share that same philosophy too. I think of making sure it's quality rather than quantity.
Yes.
And there is a lot of cheap meat, and especially chicken, on the market. So how do you see? I mean, I know you've said that it's about budget and so forth, but I also know water gets added to certain
Yeah.
And that must be very difficult for you, but as long as you keep educating, I think education is key here.
Yes.
That people are buying maybe a bit more of an expensive product, but they're going to get far more for that money.
And the reason it's expensive is because more than anything, this is so labour intensive. You know, nothing is automated. It's all done by hand, and even in the processing, everything is done by hand.
So we've talked a lot about the free range chicken and your turkeys and so forth, but what do you see as the difference between the free range, the free roaming, the organic? And I know there's a lot of media buzzwords that are associated with this in marketing, but you've got free range, you've got free roam, organic, red tractor, then we all know what the cage and the more darker side of the industry is. But where do you think is the best place to stand from the consumer's point of view, from a free range, an organic and a free roaming chicken?
Well, free range, organic, they're all roaming. They all should be roaming. So the only difference between our free range and the organic is the food, because the husbandry we use for soil association is the same husbandry we use on the free range.
That's interesting.
So we have a couple of outside growers who are non-organic, but that's because the chicks go from here out to those farms, and they don't have organic food. They have good food, but it's not organic food. So that's the main difference, really.
It's just the food.
Yes, pretty much.
And I noticed we've jumped on chicks a few times. Do they come out within a few days, or how long do you look after them until you allow them to go roaming? Because, you know, as much as we like to think that they've lived all their lives in the grass area, to be fair, they won't look after themselves. I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that would, not only the flying and the four-legged animals, but obviously, you know, if you haven't got an immunity to other things too. So how long do you keep them before you allow them to go wandering?
Well, they're in the brooder houses until they're 28 days, and then they'll go into these smaller arcs or these bigger ones. We generally keep them in for the first 48 hours just to orientate them in there, and then we'll open the pop holes. It takes 4 or 5 days, you know, because they'll start going out, but it takes 4 or 5 days for them to start wandering out. But after a week or so, you open those pop holes and they are ready to go out and go wander. I mean, when these arcs are not that close to each other, and sometimes we've had them a lot closer. Sometimes they do sort of cross over and go in, and the most horrendous thing is when you put them away and you put this arc away, and then you go put this one, and then this guy decides, actually, I want to go back there, and you've just shut them up. And then if you open them up, all of a sudden they think, oh, it's time to come back out. So, but generally,
fun and games.
Yeah, generally it's part of the course. You know, it's what you do, and it doesn't happen that often, to be fair.
That's really interesting. I think you'll all really agree with me that Stuart knows his business and knows the farming industry inside out, and it's a great pleasure to have such a great relationship and a great supplier as Stuart and Nigel Mee from Springfield Farm. So thank you very much indeed for your time today.
You're very welcome.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to get a great insight into what you do and how hard you all work to get the housewife to come and buy her free range chicken and to serve her family on a Sunday with your beautiful meat. So thank you very much for your time, and what a beautiful environment you have.
Thank
you very much, Stuart.
Cheers.
Okay, well, thank you very much for tuning in today to Wallers TV, and I hope you've enjoyed and understand a little bit more about the poultry farm and the industry that goes into making sure you get your beautiful free range chickens that you cook on a Sunday and serve to your family. It's not all about just walking out and picking up a chicken and sticking it in a bag. It's about actually rearing them properly, feeding them properly, looking after them and giving them a great environment. And obviously the husbandry is so important to make sure that the poultry are looked after until obviously it's time for us to enjoy them. Thanks again for tuning in to Wallers TV, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.